Right, so welcome to the video series. We're extremely excited to be doing this for you. Now in this first video, really all we want to do is let you know a little bit more about who we are, what we do, what we're about, why we do what we do, and give you a better understanding of why we have students flying in from all over the world to come and meet with us and some of our coaches and mentors, because you know what we're doing is very unique. It's fair to say that I don't think there's a community, an academy, a school, a college, a university that teaches what we teach. And we're very proud of that fact. And what we wanted to do in this video series is really put some meat on the bone, as they say. It's not just about a digital life. It doesn't just happen. You don't just suddenly start making money on the internet and quitting your job. There's a few things that you need to learn, and it's a bit of a journey, and that's what we want to go through with you in this video series. We want to share a little bit more about that journey and what it takes, because if you are someone who's serious about creating a life of freedom and flexibility, this digital life that we speak of, then it is going to take time, it is going to take energy, it is going to take effort. But one of the things that we know is that we've truly cracked what it takes for any individual who is serious about achieving this to actually put in the hard work and get that end result. So Jay, let's start off with your story. You know, you've been online now successfully for what, 10 years?
10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 years this month, actually. I've been online. It'll be 10 years in June that I last worked a job, so to speak. Even though this is a job, it doesn't feel like a job, it doesn't really feel like work. This is a passion, you know. It started really with, I feel like I had the options I wanted. I didn't have a decent education. I couldn't really get the type of job that would pay me the kind of money I wanted. I remember thinking to myself, if I keep doing this, I'm just going to be like everyone else in 40 years. My body will be broken. I'll have nothing to show for, and I'm not going to live for retirement. There just has to be a different way. And my circumstances were such where I didn't have, I was new in the U.S. I didn't have any credit. I had no real job history. I had no work experience. I grew up on a farm up in Canada. The best job I could get was selling mufflers at a Midas shop, and then eventually I moved into like a management position there. But that wasn't a dream job or a dream career, and I wasn't happy inside, even though it was a good job. And you know, I think if you have a job that pays the bills, you should be thankful for that. But to a lot of people, that's just not enough. And to me, something was missing inside, and I wasn't happy. And I thought that being an entrepreneur and being successful and making a lot of money would make me happy, and I later found out that there's more to it than just that. But there was no career path. There is no career path for people like me. The doors just weren't open and available to me like most people. So I made the decision finally, and it was March of 2004 that I made the decision that I will create my own path. You know, I always visualized the corporate ladder being this kind of linear path that everyone is supposed to go down or go up. And I felt like the people above me were, you know, kicking me in the teeth, and people below me were like pulling on my legs. And I was competing against everyone else for these blue-collar jobs. And I thought, well, maybe I just need to go to school and get an education. And that's actually why, the real reason why I started my first business was so that I could stop working, get an MBA, and get a real job. And 10 years later, I still don't have the MBA, but I think I have the dream job. And it's been a real journey, and through this, and no different with you, through this journey, through this process, what we've done is we've started to teach what it is that we do. And I think that's the key thing you'll find in this video series, that what we teach is really what we do. So it's more like coaching and mentorship than it is just teaching concepts that are unproven or untested or untried. Now, this is what we do, and our students essentially are like micro franchises of us. They're clones of us, and it's a passion that we have to assist and to empower people. So I mean, that's really what drove me to make the change, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did, because my life just has not been the same. No. You know, and I'm incredibly grateful. You know, because it is partially about timing, but I mean, now it's so rewarding to be able to help people. And help people empower them, yeah.
I mean, for me, I remember just this constant feeling of just not being satisfied. A crazy thing is I had a fairly normal upbringing, went to a good school, or a reasonable school anyway. Went to college, I ended up dropping out of college and went into real estate, got my first job, surrounded myself by good people. You know, they were good at what they did, they were mentors to me in my job. You know, I had good training with the companies that I was working for. But after about 8 years, it was actually about 7 years of doing that job, I just realised that this was never going to be fulfilling for me. I was waking up not wanting to go to work. And I realised that when you're working 70 hours a week like I was, that's not really a path I wanted to continue. Every single day waking up thinking, I don't want to be doing this. You know, the long hours, the commuting. So for me, I always had a burning desire right from a young age to be successful, and I always was prepared to work hard to get it. But the realisation for me was really in 2006 for the first time. When I looked around me at my boss, I looked around me at the people that own the business, and I thought, do you know what, that's not the future that I want, even if it was my own business, even if you know, I worked my way to the top as a senior partner or a director. They weren't living a life that I thought would ever give me anything that I really truly desired. So when I started my first business, I won't go into too much detail, but I managed to effortlessly run that into the ground. Within about 6 months, it involved cold calling and selling, and it was dealing with local businesses. And the experience that really taught me was that, you know, it wasn't just about chasing the money, because that opportunity I realised could have worked out. You know, as I started to get a little bit of success in that business, I realised that, you know what, the money really could be here if I continue this road. But again, I actually felt less fulfilled and less unsatisfied than I did in my job, because I just hated cold calling so much. I hated having to commute to small business owners and sit with them for hours on end trying to convince them to invest. It was a local marketing business. So for me, it was like, you know, I realised, fortunately for me, about 26 years old, that I needed to really think about what I wanted, because if I just kept winging it, if I just kept making decisions on the fly, I would probably just be doing what I see so many people doing, is just staying on this hamster wheel. So, you know, when I first came across just the idea of being able to make money online, making money in my sleep, as they often say, I was just kind of intrigued. Skeptical, but I was intrigued. And it wasn't until I really started to dig deeper, end of 2007, that I started to realise that, do you know what, there are a lot of people making money on the internet. And back then, the thing that I remember thinking is that, you know, I'm going to have to learn some skill sets here that are going to be completely out of my comfort zone. I was as close to what you could call a technophobe. All I really used a computer for was sending emails. So when I first started thinking about setting up an online business, I was learning about why you would need a website, why you'd need to do all of these various different things. And I started to go down that path of really learning, you know, some of these skill sets. And do you know what? I persevered. I learned a few of these skills. I started to really get some results. But going back to what I was saying, what excites me so much now, we're in 2014, is that the technology hurdles that I had to persevere through, that steep learning curve that I had to go through, are no longer a barrier. And, you know, as you know, we invest a lot of money in our tools and our technology to make them user-friendly and easy. You know, there's apps you can use on your phones now to you know, be productive and work with your business. You can log on to your computer these days, use things like fully automated autoresponders to communicate with your customers. But anyone can learn this stuff, and they can learn it really quickly. And that's what excites me so much. And what you're going to hear us talking about a lot through this video series is what we call a digital business system. And what Jay and I have been obsessed with, absolutely obsessed with over the last couple of years, is creating something that we know is like a franchise-like system that anybody can operate to start profiting on the internet. Now, what we're going to be doing through these videos is really showing you what we do, just like what Jay said, what we do, how we operate our business, what it is that we do that actually makes us money, how we actually, you know, earn money online. Some of the tactical things, some of the sort of, you know, things that we've been able to create that get rid of any technology problems, hurdles, barriers. And we want you to see for your very own eyes that this is something you could do.
Yeah.
This is something you could do.
That's a really, really great point. And a thought just crossed my mind when you were saying that. It's the tools that you already have. Chances are you already have a smartphone, you already have a computer, It doesn't even have to be a laptop. It could be a desktop computer like this, or really any decent computer, and access to the internet. And what Stuart is referring to, the tools and the technology that exists today that didn't even exist 6 or 8 or 10 years ago when I started, they've eliminated so many of the barriers and the variables that normally in the past prevented everyday people from becoming entrepreneurs. I don't know if I can overemphasize how incredible that is, because now for the first time, individuals who've never in the past stood a chance of success as an entrepreneur can legitimately be up and running with a business, virtually turnkey, with these new technologies. I mean, just think, just a few years ago, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google. I mean, I remember when Google was just a startup, right? Yahoo, I remember eBay. Now there's a whole economy. But instead of brick and mortar storefronts and Main Street and Broad Street and the High Street, where you've got all the brick and mortar establishments and the traditional factories and all of that infrastructure, this is all virtual. It's all up there, and it's a flat world again because it's all accessible to everyone. Doesn't matter where you live. You could be in South Africa, South America, Europe, North America, Mexico. It doesn't matter where you are. So the restrictions and the prohibitive cost of starting a business has been eliminated to a certain degree. And that's where our system comes in, is because we've pieced together, like I said, these things that you already have and the life experience that you already have, and you apply it like a pattern to like a puzzle that you're building. We'll give you the pattern to put the pieces together. I think back to what really, really motivated me. I said before, I wanted the education. I wanted to get an education because I thought that is what was going to give me the access point to the life that I wanted. And what I realized, to have the life that I want, to get that education, I needed money. And I know a lot of times we don't want to talk about money, and money is there's negative connotations there. Money is, I grew up in a culture where money was a bad thing, money was evil, it's the root of all evil. There's a lot of negative associations around money. So I had to overcome that, but what I realized is that money was really what was preventing me from having these options. And I said to myself at the time, I was 27 years old, I said, I'm going to put $1 million in the bank, and then I'm going to figure out what I want to do with my life when money is no longer this constant nagging problem. Lack, limitation, poverty, not that it was poverty, but poverty mentality, just not having enough, not having options. Working 5.5 days, 6 days a week. And in 2007, once I had achieved that goal by my 30th birthday, making money and being successful as an entrepreneur, I realized I wasn't really any happier than I was selling mufflers. And that's when I personally began to start teaching other people what to do, how to do what I was doing. And since then, I mean, life just can't be better. It just keeps getting better and better because it's my calling. I feel like it's my calling. So why does that matter to you? We're two really passionate guys who've made a lot of money in the past. We did really well for ourselves. And both of us, and Stuart, you'll see it, you can hear from his own mouth, became disenchanted with just the money and competing with everybody else out there. And that's why I believe what we have here with Digital Experts Academy and our reseller program, our business system, Six Figure Mentors, is so unique. Because our passion is your success. Our passion is your success, and it's directly tied to our students' success. And as you go through this video series, you'll see that for yourself.
Yeah, and I think, to really just wrap this up, you're here, I believe, for a reason. Maybe it's just a burning desire, maybe it's necessity. What I will tell you, however, is that we really are going to show you that we can provide you everything that you need to create the lifestyle of freedom and flexibility in this digital economy. Now, like we've said many times before, it's going to take work, it's going to take effort. You've just seen that we have students who are investing in their education, learning new skills and being trained on some of the latest things that they need to understand in order to create this success. But give it an opportunity over the next few days. Open up, take the blinkers off. Don't judge. Go through each of these videos with an open mind. because what our promise is to you is that we will show you that it is possible to take action on the stuff that we can provide you to actually create everything that we're talking about right now. So just all I ask is keep an open mind, enjoy the videos. We're certainly going to enjoy shooting for them for you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
We'll see you there.